The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Thank you for joining us on this Wednesday morning. I'm Keith Tebow from FRC Media, and we will bring in, as we do every Wednesday, the Mayor of the City of Fall River, Mayor Paul Coogan. Mayor, how are you today?
I'm doing okay, Keith. What's going on?
Well, a little bit, quite a few things, actually. I actually want to go to yesterday's presidential primary in Massachusetts. The outcomes were pretty much, we kind of knew how the outcomes would turn out in terms of the presidential primaries. But here in Fall River, according to Election Commission Chair Ryan Lyons, we had a little over 15% turnout, which, in an election where things have sort of predetermined, I guess not a bad turnout, although we always want to see more, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm trying to think that last mayoral race I was in, I thought it was around 13%. It's, it is a presidential primary, so it does generate a little more buzz, but at the same time, it was kind of lousy weather. We had some new polling places, and I guess that's a step in the right direction. I'm hoping in November we can have a bigger turnout. That would be great. It's just, it is what it is. People, I know they had a significant uptick in mail-in ballots. So I think that it almost seems like that's the wave of the future, that early voting, we don't get a lot of people for that. It's not really catching fire like the mail-in balloting is. So it's kind of interesting, but they'll look at the numbers and decide what's the best way to go.
Yeah, I know we talked about this last week. You like to go in person on Election Day. I think that's where we're at now, where we have people that are traditional vote on Election Day people. And then those who want more convenience, I think, tend to go to the mail-in ballot than to come in person. I think that's what we're shaking out to be. But we still have that in-person early voting. That's an option. So,
yeah, well, like I said, early voting didn't seem like it generated much buzz. We were open here one day, all day Saturday. I think we had like 50 people, if that.
yeah.
That's for all precincts. But the mail-in, I know it was over 5,000, so that's good, I guess.
Yeah. All right. Shifting gears. This week, the city officially, actually March 1st, the city officially pulled the plug on collecting commercial trash. This has been an issue that you've been facing since you came into office 4 years ago. And I know there were steps that needed to be done because the ordinance specifies that trash is to be picked up only for residential customers. And previous administration had let some businesses in there. And I know there was a process in terms of identifying where they were, but now officially as of March 1st, that is over. Talk about how, this will potentially save the city some money because as we know, trash pickup continues, the cost of that continues to go up.
Obviously, trash is going to be one of those budget busting items that's going to go on. This is like the first step in trying to get a handle on it. I mean, I think I've heard a number that there's 2,000 businesses in Fall River. We're picking up trash from 500 select businesses that some of them, I don't know how they got bins, where it came from. Initially, there was when the trash first started, there was what they called a pink barrel agreement where we would, if they bought a pink barrel to raise money for cancer, we would pick up their recycling. But that was great because that was at a time when we were selling recycling to make some money. Now we pay more for recycling than we do for trash. So it's punitive the whole way across. I mean, we have to do something to end it, and we have to get back to being somebody that runs a government like it's fair. We can't select certain people to pick up trash from and others we tell them to go get a private vendor. It's got to be a policy that goes across the board, and that's what we're lurching towards. We are not going to have everyone done by March 1, but I believe everybody will be notified or given a target deadline when it's over, because right now the guys are going out and following easy, picking up bins, and we're not going to pick them up from businesses anymore. If someone needs some support, they can call us, let us know. But at the same time, that's their responsibility. Literally, you've seen restaurants on one side of the street have the free pickup. The one on the other side of the street has a tote or a bin from Harvey's or ABC. it's not a good way to run government, and we got to do a better job. And my mistake is it took this long, but it's definitely a step in the right direction.
Now, let me ask you, I understand that, at a recent city council committee meeting, there was talk about maybe extending that to some of the larger nonprofits in Fall River. And, they're not commercial per se, but they also probably should be paying for the removal of their own trash. That's a little extra, and that may be the next step.
I think that's where we're going also, because some of our nonprofits, Keith, have a residential component. People Incorporated, for example, has residential homes. Deaconess has residential homes. So we're going to have to find a way to melt those in. But by the same token, People Incorporated has a building right here adjoining the government center, which has a number of bins and totes for an office building. That's not the intent of the trash pickup. That's a business. In that building, it's a business. Their homes, which are scattered throughout the city, will keep picking those up because that's where they have residences. But offices and places that can easily afford to pick up, to have a private vendor, we'd ask them to do that.
Yeah. And I know the city is also in the process, I believe, of renegotiating contracts with the companies that pick up the trash and also
Right.
disposal. So is there any opportunities there to maybe save some money or find some
Well,
savings?
what happened, I remember my first campaign for mayor, when the former mayor eliminated the bags. I made the ill-fated mistake of asking a question, what's the plan going forward? And then my opponent's supporters all rallied around, he wants to bring the bags back. He wants to bring the bags back. And again, I never had thought that. I just wanted to know what his plan was to make up that $2 million or $1.5 million out of the revenue out of the budget. Never got an answer. And again, now here we are 6 years later with the advent of Diamond coming on, increased trash costs. There are things we have to do going forward that we're doing these first steps towards business trash and the large nonprofits that we're going to have to do because there's just no way around it. The way money is beginning to tighten on the state level, Fall River has to keep its city services going, and we're going to work with a number of creative ways to try to generate some money to help.
Are there, I have to ask this question. You did bring up the bags. There any thoughts of potentially, adding a fee to the general public? That was actually from, former Mayor Sutter at the time.
Right. Again, I'm not sure that that's even been a topic of discussion yet. I have heard from people that say that's what we should do. But again, I'm not 100% married yet. I want to walk through this and see where we end up. My point is, I told people that there's not going to be a trash fee. I think there was a $10 a month on per apartment, but I don't know if that's fair. And other opportunities to save money. We're working with both Easy, Republic, looking at some things we can do to try to generate some money, and we'll keep going forward with our vendors first.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. Speaking about things that you may be talking about over the next year, this coming Tuesday before the city council meeting, you'll be providing your latest State of the City address, sort of an update on what's been happening across Fall River and your vision for 2024. What can people expect to hear?
I think people are going to, first of all, I'm not going to gloss over the mistakes or the problems that we have going on in the city. There are things that we can do a better job of. There are things that every city has to focus their attention on. And those are things that a mayor should have his eyes on. But by the same token, there's just so many good things going on in the city of Fall River that I know it's noticed statewide. I know it's noticed even by some of our local neighboring communities. They see that what we're doing here, whether it's on crime, our schools, infrastructure, water and sewer, we have a number of our communities that abut us looking for ways to get involved with some of the programs that we have going. And I just want people to know that we keep our eye on everything, and we're going to do that. And that the speech this week will be a highlight of what goes on in the city. But again, we're not going to walk away from things that need more attention. That's part of our job. But at the same time, there are so many good things going on in the city of Fall River. We want people to know it. You just go no further. For example, one of our Our neighboring communities has over 300 abandoned properties. I think we're about 75. And we have our eye on 6 or 8 of those to move into a program with the Attorney General called Building Blocks. We're going in there and start renovating them. There's things we're doing that, I'm not really like someone that wants to give a press release to everything we do, but at the same time, I want people to know that we are working every day and we're looking for ways to improve the city, and that's not going to stop as long as I'm mayor.
Yeah. And we will definitely recap your speech when we meet next week. And that'll do it for this week. Mayor, thank you for your time. We'll talk again next week. Take care.
Okay, Keith, thank you.
All right. And thank you for joining us here on FRC Media. Have a great rest of your day.